Thank you. I yield 5 minutes to Mr. Gaetz.
Dr. Martinez-Lopez, is the Department of Defense covering up vaccine injuries?
Congressman, no.
So who is Lieutenant Ted Macy?
Congressman, I don't know the lieutenant.
Well, it's sort of the reason we're here. On November 27, 2023, Navy Medical Corps Officer Lieutenant Ted Macy shared a video on X where he expressed grave concern for his patients suffering after receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. And according to Lieutenant Macy, he tried reporting the DoD data from the DMED system to his superiors, and he was subsequently silenced and punished. He lost access to the DMED system. He's been removed from seeing his patients and has been relegated to some broom closet somewhere to continue his service. It seems to me that Lieutenant Macy has suffered more than the people who screwed up the DMED system. So why is this person being punished for trying to showcase data that was alarming?
Congressman, I'm not prepared to talk about specifics on the lieutenant because I really don't know, but I'll be glad to answer any questions regarding the system of the vaccines and our findings.
Well, right, but part of the system and the vaccines and how we conduct oversight is that if there are whistleblowers who say that you're not doing your job right, and if there are whistleblowers concerned about a cover-up, there's a process by which that has to get to the Inspector General and be reviewed. And in the case of Lieutenant Macy's concerns, those languished for like more than 5 months. Do you have any reason why a request made through the chain of command to view this data that could illuminate concerns over vaccine injuries was smothered?
Again, Congressman, I'm not prepared to talk details.
Okay, well, maybe let's get to what you're prepared to talk about. Let's get to the actual data that's so concerning, since the people who raise concerns about the data, they get punished and we don't seem to remember them. The hypertensive diseases, up 23% when you compare the 2016 to 2020 averages to cases in 2021. Does that sound right?
That sounds right.
So hypertensive diseases up 23%. Then ovarian dysfunction, up 35%. Does that sound right?
I'm not specific. Can we?
Does that sound right, Dr. Stallman?
I think you're referencing something from an older document, but it could be.
Oh, I'm referencing data from the Defense Medical Surveillance System.
Yeah.
Is that a system that you're both familiar with?
Yes.
Okay, so that system says that hypertensive disease is up 23%, ovarian dysfunction up 35%, pulmonary embolisms, which as we all know can kill you, up 43%, myocarditis, as Chairman Banks was describing, up 151%. Is it really your testimony that these massive spikes in these serious ailments are a consequence of contracting COVID? Is that your best medical opinion?
Congressman, not all, but I mean, many of them, obviously, ovarian dysfunction, there are other reasons. Emboli, there's other reasons. But yes, there's a correlation, not only from our data, but the data of CDC that, yes, correlate COVID with having higher likelihood of having some of these events.
Pardon me for not treating the CDC
Not the variant
assessment.
one, but the other.
The vaccine or the virus?
Both. The virus, and like the cardiomyopathy is a little bit higher. The risk is much higher if you just get the disease, but you have an enhanced risk. Not as big as when you get the infection, but you do get some risk from getting the vaccine. It's minimal, but yes.
So there is vaccine risk associated with hypertensive diseases, right?
Hypertension, help me out. Not that I'm aware of, but.
Okay, well, how about ovarian dysfunction?
Not that I'm aware of.
And how about pulmonary embolisms?
Yes.
Okay, so you're here giving us testimony that the vaccine increases someone's risk of pulmonary embolism.
No, pulmonary embolism, the COVID virus does increase.
No, I'm asking about the vaccine.
No, the vaccine, no.
Okay,
not that I know of.
No, and myocarditis, you think there is
Yes,
a
sir.
risk?
A slightly higher risk, but it's much higher than when you get the virus itself, when you get infected.
And to tease out those data distinctions, wouldn't it be responsible to assess these conditions in people who got the disease and were unvaccinated versus the people who got the disease and were vaccinated? Has that type of an analysis been done?
We did look at this in the DoD report on cardiac and kidney conditions. The information stratified by all the different ways, vaccinated, not vaccinated, those are not all included in the report. I do have the data on that. When we reported the 10 times increase rate due to recent infection, that is adjusting for vaccination status. It's also adjusting for demographic risk factors, including age, sex, and BMI.
Right, so did that analyze ovarian dysfunction?
It did not.
Did it analyze pulmonary embolisms?
It did not.
And did it analyze hypertensive diseases?
It did not.
Well, I mean, we got thousands more people than the average in 2021 getting hypertensive diseases, thousands more people getting ovarian dysfunction, thousands more people, or I'm sorry, hundreds more people getting these pulmonary embolisms. What's the case against analyzing those conditions that have seen these increases in the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated?
We are continuing to do surveillance on these conditions, and we are open to doing additional work on this. With chronic conditions, it is tricky to look at that in relation to a vaccine.
Is a pulmonary embolism a chronic condition or is it an acute condition?
We can look at acute conditions.
Yeah, your medical knowledge goes far beyond mine, but I would consider a pulmonary embolism acute, not chronic.
With hypertension, it could be difficult to get causal evidence to link that to the vaccine, but yes, we can look at acute outcomes.
Right, but see, that's how you get the causal evidence. The reason there are people concerned that the DoD is engaging in a cover-up here is because you seem to be willfully and purposefully ignorant to those comparisons on these ailments that are skyrocketing now. For pregnant women, for people who get pulmonary embolisms, for people with hypertension, and in the one area you've looked, myocarditis, you're here giving testimony that actually causes this increased risk factor. And so, Mr. Chairman, I hope we continue to follow up on this because my deep concern is that there is a cover-up here and that they're playing games with the data so that we can't actually assess whether it's the vaccine or the ailment that is causing these acute conditions. And, I mean, wouldn't it be a tragic thing to have to discover that we hurt people with the vaccine more so than the virus did with the ailment, particularly in a condition where now the CDC, whose opinion I guess we treat like the gospel, is saying that you just should quarantine for 24 hours after you're done with your fever. So they have evolving sensibilities on this, and the only way we get to the bottom of it is that data comparison. I thank the
love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. looking back, mirror breaks, aftermath. When I hate, I attack.
When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal.
And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't be scared. Just give me up.